Am I the a-hole for refusing to name our daughter Karen? My wife and I recently found out we're having a daughter. We hadn't really talked about names before, but we both agreed that each of us will retain veto power. When we did start discussing names, both of us wanted to name her after our late mothers. Her mom's name was Karen and my mom's name wasn't a meme. I told her the baby can take my mom's name as her first name and her mom's name as a middle name, or have an entirely different name, but I can't. Okay, Karen as a first name in any case. She got offended because she just wants to honor her mother and thinks I have a problem with that. I just don't want to set our daughter up to be bullied throughout her life. I told her I'd be fine with whatever first name she picks as long as it doesn't lead to the baby being picked on later in life. But she's pretty insistent on Karen. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. I thought I'd delete this since this issue is pretty much resolved now, but you guys are clearly enjoying this, so I thought I'd provide an update. We had a talk about this and why she had such an emotional reaction to my veto. Ever since her mom died suddenly when she was only 14, she's wanted to name her first daughter after her. And she didn't really ever consider that the meme might be a potential obstacle. By that point, I thought about it for a while and realized that, as many of the comments have pointed out, Karen likely won't be a meme by the time she's old enough to feel its impact. So I told her I'll recant my veto, but we should still reconsider it because it still has potential complications and we might just come up with a better tribute. While exchanging ideas, we realized that both our mothers very coincidentally had the exact same middle name, Elizabeth. Well, mine had two middle names, and Elizabeth was one of them, but still. It seemed completely perfect to both of us, so we're going with it. Thanks for all your inputs. Am I the a-hole for getting pissed off at being called a Karen? I'll try and keep this brief. I met my roommate Nicole late July through mutual friends last July, and she moved in August 1st when my old roommate moved out for grad school. Nicole seemed very sweet, but we're definitely more friendly than friends. She is subleasing, so she pays rent directly to me on a month-to-month basis. She's not in the lease, and I told her that she could move out as long as she gave me a month's notice. Her boyfriend, Blake, is another story. He's around at the apartment a lot, which is usually fine by me because I'm either at work or at my boyfriend's a lot of the time. But Blake is a real asshole. He knows I'm a feminist and is always trying to get a rise out of me and tease me even when we really are not close like that. I try to be polite, but he is just kind of awful. So last night, I was in my room when I saw I was overcharged for an electricity bill. It was almost double the usual amount. I went to the living room where Nicole and Blake were watching TV and I asked her about it. She said she didn't know why, so I went back to my room and called Cone. The first representative was incompetent, so I asked to speak with her manager. I was annoyed at the time, but I wasn't yelling. At no point did I raise my voice. The manager helped resolve the issue. I went back to the kitchen and got a drink. Blake told me that I sounded like a real Karen on the phone. I never heard this before, so I asked what it meant. He said a Karen is someone who gets annoyed and asks to speak to a manager. I told him sounds like sexist bullshit. And he asked why I couldn't take a joke and told me that he wasn't sexist, blah blah blah. So I told him maybe when you get a job and move out of your parents' house and start paying your own bills, you'll understand why it sucks to be overcharged. I know this wasn't the nicest thing to say, but IMO, he definitely deserved it. He blew up. He called me toxic and I rolled my eyes, which only further aggravated him. It was honestly pathetic. It was like a large toddler throwing a tantrum. At no point did I actually fear for my safety. Blake and I went back and forth for a bit, but Nicole just sat there silently, which I also viewed as pathetic. Then he and Nicole left. Well, today while I'm at work, Nicole sent me a text saying that she's going to move out because she doesn't want to be around such a toxic person as me and that she didn't want Blake to constantly feel like he's walking on eggshells when he visits the apartment. I told her that it was fine if she moved out. She already paid her October rent. I feel like it's pretty obvious that she's just parroting Blake's language about me being toxic, but I'm annoyed because now I have to find a new roommate. I want some outside perspective as to whether I was the asshole here. Update. I'm kind of overwhelmed by all these comments and I've only read about a quarter of them. I'm done reading, but thanks to all who responded. I'm gonna have a talk with Nicole when she gets back from work. I especially want to thank all the people who just commented saying that I'm definitely a Karen. You're all very clever and I'm sure your parents are mad proud. Am I the a-hole for being a Karen at dinner? I 21 male and my friends 22 female, 23 male, 20 for male. 21 female went out to eat for my friend's 22 female birthday. We get a few rounds of drinks and then order our appetizers and entrees at the same time. And I made sure to tell our server to please pace the meal so that our apps and entrees were not served with each other. The apps come and 5 minutes after that, all of our entrees were being served. Now all of us were a little frustrated given the fact that I told the server to pace the meal appropriately. We asked that they be taken back and that they wait for us to finish our apps. The server takes the entrees back and a minute later, a food runner now brings us the same food that we had just sent back. We politely told him that we are still eating our appetizers and so he brings it back to the kitchen again. So we finish our apps and now are ready for the entrees. About 20 minutes go by and we have nothing. Our server hadn't come by to check on us at all and at this point we were both ready for another round and still hungry. Finally, only my entree comes out, nobody else's, and my food is ice cold. I had wrongly assumed that my food was sitting on the hot plate waiting for me as opposed to just off to the side in the kitchen. Now I had tried calling our server over, but she didn't come over until everyone else got their food. I told our server that my food was cold and without skipping a beat, she responded with verbatim "it's not cold." She hadn't felt the plate or the food itself and so I was taken aback by the resentment towards me. So now I was really angry and we end up calling our manager over who is being very nice. We told her we hadn't gotten the chance to order another round and she offered to buy this next round for us and take my pasta off the bill. We told her we all wanted a refill on our margaritas. 10 minutes later, our server brings us 5 little shots of tequila and says my manager wanted me to tell you that this is your next round on us. Now I was confused because I thought we were getting margs, but whatever free alcohol is free alcohol. But of course one of my friends goes, "Oh, these were supposed to be margaritas." Our server looks at us and straight up says, "You know what, I'm done with you guys," and walks away. We see the manager, so we ask her for our check because our server was full on avoiding us at that point. Our server then comes to our table, hands us our check and is very nice and happy like nothing ever happened. I said, "Wait, I thought you were done with us," and she replies, "Oh yeah, I forgot," and walks away. The manager cashes us out, and I was just so angry in the heat of the moment that I stiffed our server out of a tip, which I would never do, but I felt in that it was the only thing I could do just from the disrespect we had gotten. If we were a pain in the ass, I get it, but the attitude was straight up unprofessional. Edit, I live in the US, and this restaurant is an upscale chain restaurant, but not a super fancy one. Think above a Chili's, below a Capitol Grill. Won't name the place, but the desserts such as the cheesecake come out so fast you'd think it's from a factory. Edit 2, 100% realizing I'm the asshole in the situation. Should have ordered the apps first, eaten them, then ordered the entree. My friends and I probably pushed the server to her breaking point, and so if I get a chance this week, I'm gonna go back to the restaurant and tip her. Thanks for opening my eyes up, Reddit. Edit 3, alright boys, that's enough Reddit for the night. I'm logging off. And if this somehow goes viral, please do not let BuzzFeed use this as an article now. Edit 4. Well gang, it was good while it lasted, but the thread is now locked, lol, beyond my control, thanks mods. If you want some good reading material this morning, sort the comments by controversial, you won't regret it. Please leave your comments down below to any of today's stories. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.